Okay, so I wanted this to kind of be, this is our monthly leadership meeting, and I just kind of wanted to feel out where everybody's at and kind of get some feedback from you guys. I know we've got people traveling for the holidays. I saw that Brianna's on an airplane right now. Mel's on another meeting. And so I know we've got people kind of all over the place, but we just kind of wanted to pick y'all's brains and see where you'd like to see everything going and what maybe is holding you back, or that you have that's positive that you'd like to share with everybody. So if anybody wants to jump on and just unmute yourself, I just want to know, what does leadership look like to you? I guess I should say, what does good leadership look like to you?
Duplication. So if we're working, then our teams are seeing that and wanting to do what we're doing.
Okay. Anybody else? Can't be a leader if you don't know what it looks like, you guys. That's super important. What does leadership look like to you?
Reliable.
What does reliability in our business look like to you, Val?
To me?
Yeah, when you say reliable, what does that look like to you?
Reliable as in being able to, you trust them with everything. I mean, literally, our leaders, to me, if I'm willing to do the work, I need to know that my leaders are willing to lead and do the work, which all of you do. And so to me, I love the way you guys do things. And I love the fact that I can rely on you. Even if I'm having a down day, I can reach out to Bree, you, Rhonda, and I don't have to worry. I know that you guys are there. And so to know that you have someone to lean on in the bad times and you have someone to celebrate with in the good times, it's a consistency thing, and it's knowing that you can trust that they are there.
Okay, awesome.
Either way, bad or good.
So consistency, I'm going to add that. How about you, Debbie?
I know one thing, I guess, maybe that leadership should not look like is putting others down, or, not even so much of not lifting them up, but if you're a leader, I feel that you should find ways to praise those that are on your team or that you're leading over. Even if it's just something small, but just giving some sort of acknowledgement that there is existence and you appreciate what they're doing.
Okay. Rhonda, you have one for us?
What was the question again, Ansley? Sorry.
What does good leadership look like to you?
Oh, okay. Thank you. I'm scatterbrained. Well, God, for some reason, He places people on my heart frequently. And when He does, I reach out to that person and say, I'm thinking about you. Is there something I can help you with? You just need to be consistent, obviously. You need to be an encourager, have a grateful journal. Make sure you write down 3 to 4 things you're grateful every day as a leader. You also have to lead by example. And that's what I got comfortable. Honestly, I got comfortable where the position I'm in. And now I'm uncomfortable again. That's okay, because that's a season of change for me. But if I'm not doing the work, why would anybody else do the work? And we have to remember that too, because everybody's watching us. So that's my take for that.
Awesome. Anything else? Okay, so right now we have a leader should be duplicatable. They should be reliable, should have trust, consistency. They should acknowledge your, I guess, what was the best way to say it? Acknowledge, your positive traits. They shouldn't talk down to their teammates. They should be encouraging. Annalisa, I've missed you. And so that's what we have so far. Annalisa, I'm putting you on the spot. What does good leadership look like to you? Just give me a trait.
Consistency.
Okay.
And example, like leading by example.
Okay, I agree. Okay.
Ansley, how about integrity too?
Yes.
That's a huge one.
Okay, so what is one thing that you currently do to grow your leadership skills? If you have one.
Our book studies and pray.
Today I watched a YouTube video from another Plexus Diamond on leadership. So I'd say YouTube videos or training videos.
I just joined Bob Heilig, and it's a major expense. However, I just felt that there would be so much value in his trainings. So that's what I'm doing, and book studies, and constantly working on myself as the leader.
Anybody else have one that they currently do?
About a year ago, so I mean, it's not just recent, but I'm a Boy Scout leader, and about a year ago, I went to a big leadership training. It's called Wood Badge with them. And it's a training that a lot of bigger corporations have based their leadership training off of the Wood Badge training. And so I went through that for Scouts, but I took Gob notes over the 6 months of it, and that really was a big help to me.
You reminded me of one that I did too. I did a program through our church called Shine, and it was a women. It wasn't really Christian based, but it was just a women's conference kind of thing. But it was small group based, and just really helping you kind of grow yourself and just know where your good qualities are, and where you shine basically. And it was a confidence booster, and it was a really good program too.
Positive affirmations. Kind of like Rhonda said, the building ourselves up, because we got to feel good about ourselves, or we're not going to reach that hand down to help, or at least have the confidence that we can reach our hands down to help.
Right. Okay, so some of the things you guys are already doing are great. You may not have all of these on your list, so it might trickle into this next list. What is one thing that you could do to improve in your leadership skills that you're not currently doing? One thing that you could do to improve your leadership skills that you're not currently doing.
I will run with Rhonda's on following the spirit when prompted to reach out to someone.
I get easily discouraged when I'm not having success with someone, or I'm like afraid what they're gonna say, so I don't like go back and can like confidently say, well, this is how we do it, and this is, you know, what we ought to do. I'm worried about what they're gonna think, or that that's gonna like offend them, or so I might say it like once or twice and then not consistently go back to that person. So that for me is what, so I guess that's that, building that self-confidence.
Maybe emulating what others are doing or how they're conducting themselves as leaders.
Okay. I think consistency is big. I am not going to sit here and say that I haven't had bumps in the road, y'all. So I think just, and that could be another one. I think as far as something I do well in leadership is that I think I do share my bumps in the road when I have things, because I think I always tell people, you know, I've followed leaders in the past where I feel like it looks like it's so easy to be a diamond, or life is just perfect, you know, when you're there, but that feels unreachable to me. And so I felt like in my journey, it's been important to say like, hey, look, my points aren't great this month, or I lost a customer, or, you know, whatever has gone on in my business, because I think it's so important that others see that this isn't a straight road, you know, that this is a journey, and that there are ups and downs, and not everything is going to be hunky-dory all the time. But if you're consistent with it, you'll get there eventually, and that is kind of the purpose of it. And so I think consistency is something that I struggle with. And so I have in the good pieces of my life, when I have a little less chaos going on, I'm super consistent, and my IPA is great and things like that. But something that I struggle with is getting stuck in management mode. And so I will say something better that I could do in my leadership is being more consistent in my own business, and making sure that my business comes first before being in management mode.
Alexis put 3-way calls in hers, and I tried. I had a gal actually approach me, and when I mentioned 3-way call, she will not respond, and that's been weeks ago. I am total cricketed out now.
How did you mention it? Did you ask her?
I'm trying to remember. I'm not
in our
sure.
book that we've been reading, the Get Over Your Damn Self book, she says, don't ask. She says, just say, you know, okay, so the next step is to get on a 3-way call with my business partner. You know, would this day or this day, you know, work for you? And I think sometimes when we ask, they can come back and say, oh, I'm not interested in that. I don't want to do that. Or we always give them that opportunity, of course. But when we ask, then it seems like we want to know if they want to do it, instead of this is just part of the process. Kind of like when we talk about subscriptions. When we talk to people about our subscriptions, and we just say, okay, so we need to, you know, have at least a 60-day commitment. So you're going to turn on a subscription. This is how to do it. We talk them through it, but we don't ask them, because it's part of our process. And if you ask, then people hesitate because they don't understand, or they don't realize that how important it is. And so same thing with 3-way calls, or 3-way chats. If, you know, for me, 3-way calls or phone calls in general have always been uncomfortable for me. And I feel like if I was buying something from someone else and they asked me for a three-way call, I think I would be really hesitant because I'm introverted in that piece of my world. And so I think sometimes three-way chats are great. Just putting them in a three-way chat with your sponsor, just saying, hey, this is, so-and-so, we're talking about, these products because of this. I just wanted to get your feedback. Do you have any other suggestions for them? If you don't feel like that person is comfortable. But I do think phone calls are the best, even though they make me uncomfortable. But they're not going to work. Everything doesn't work for every client, and that's okay. So don't beat yourself up over the fact that somebody stopped talking to you after a three-way call. They may have stopped talking to you after your next sentence anyways. It may not be the three-way call. It may just be that they decided they weren't interested, or they got scared about something, or they're just not ready yet. Does that make sense? It doesn't mean that three-way calls don't work, because they do. There's no.
Oh, I believe they do.
Yeah.
Mine did.
Yeah.
But okay. So is it best that we just throw them into a three-way chat and then work on the three-way call? Because to say our next step would be to do the three-way call or the Zoom. I don't know what Bree or yours or Rhonda's schedules are, so I wouldn't know what days to give that option. Does that make sense?
Yes. So our book says to kind of ask your upline on a regular basis, what are your most clear days in your schedule? So that, if you were to ask me, I would tell you Mondays and Fridays are probably the easiest times to get a hold of me, that I don't have team calls or, other things going on. And if they need an evening, or not an evening, but if they need something if they work full time, I would say Saturdays and Sundays would work fine for me. But so just kind of knowing kind of what good days and times, I would tell you obviously morning would be better for me because that's my evening. So kind of knowing what your upline schedule is, but just kind of giving a example, just saying, do Mondays or Fridays work best for you? And then once you get a day, because you know that those are usually good for your upline, you can go to your upline and say, okay, she said she can meet on Fridays. What's the best time? And then you can go back to them with a time. I will just say from what I've been, not my experience, because I told you I'm not good at three-way calls, but what I've learned from other leaders, that three-way calls are the best thing. Three-way chats are an alternative, but three-way calls are the best. So I would not give you the advice of it's better to go into three-way chat and then go to a three-way call. And I think it's fine to get them on a actual phone call and not a Zoom. Zoom can be intimidating to people, and it can feel like a process, and it can feel like an interview. So remember, we want these calls to be like 15 minutes, 20 minutes max. And so you're going to tell them that. We're just, that it's going to be a short chat with your business partner. And if you are confident, if things are moving quickly, you don't have to do that step. You can do that step afterwards. But if they're treading water, that's when you want to get them on a call with someone. Okay, I sign people up on a regular basis, and then I think back and go, oh man, I was supposed to put them on a three-way call. But if they're ready to sign up, you don't want to hold off on the process by calling your sponsor. Does that make sense? Somebody tells me they're ready to sign up right now, I'm not going to say, oh, well, hang on, let's get you on the phone with my upline on Friday. That would kind of defeat the purpose. But we want to get them on a call after that, or a chat.
Or if they're just needing more info or more, like Ansley knows a little bit more than maybe somebody in her downline. Not that she knows more, but her credibility is a little bit stronger. Not saying yours aren't, but that helps too if they're questioning or skeptical. then put it in a 3-way call or 3-way message. Hope that
And it's
helps.
easy to kind of give your sponsor or whoever it is that you're doing your 3-way chats with. If you have a sideline that does really well, if your upline is new or, you don't have somebody available, use whoever you are most confident with that has the time. Your sidelines probably aren't going to want to get on those calls all the time because that's not their business. But if you have someone, even if it's 2 levels above you, because maybe your sponsor and you joined at the same time and you feel like maybe they don't have the best answers yet, that's okay. Just go to the next person and explain that to them. But I don't think that anybody has to have a lot of qualifications. I think it just has to be that third-party validation, somebody other than you, because you're always going to be the best friend, the sister, or the mom, whatever that is. You're always going to be that, look at the baby belly. I love it. But yeah, I think that third-party validation is it's important. I've started as part of my leadership kind of training, what I've been doing for myself and just getting myself back into, really focusing on growing my leadership skills is as I see people join my team, okay, you can check that in your back office or your virtual office. I am friending them. I am sending their sponsor a congratulations, okay? And then I am asking them to put me in a 3-way chat with that person if I'm their sponsor. If they're 3 levels down for me, I'm not going to be like, hey, put me in a 3-way chat, because they should be doing that with their sponsor. If your sponsor's not doing that with you and you need somebody, you can always use me. That your sponsor should be the person that you're going to with that. And that's just a reminder, because I'm horrible. In fact, I'm sitting here going, I just signed up 2 people in the last, I signed up 1 ambassador and 1 customer, I believe. And I did not do that with Rhonda. So I need to go and do that. And so it's just, but for me, it's been kind of jogging other people's memories and, just kind of getting them in the habit of that, because it's not something that we've really talked about on a mega basis of being consistent about. And so it is really important that they have at least one other person that they know and have knowledge of that they can ask questions to. I'm in a 3-way chat right now with Wendy Bridge and one of her customers, or not customers, one of her potentials, just trying to get more information. And so we've been doing that, and she's going to meet with her this week and try to get her signed up. So it's been working great. Okay. Okay, what do you think is holding you back from ranking up? Dun, dun, dun.
Me.
You. Okay.
Simple as that. It's me.
Your mindset?
Yeah, I lost my confidence big time in everything. I mean, confidence in the products? No. Confidence in me? Yes. So I'm the one holding me back.
I think for me, I let things get in the way and then take priority over what I know I want to do, but I let life circumstances, get in the way a little bit. And then, as I mentioned earlier, if someone turns off their subscription, I'm very shy to be like, I know I'm not shy, but on this one, I'm like, oh, well, I don't want to talk about it, or I don't want to know why they don't want to do it or what's going on. And then it just gets harder and harder and harder when you're not talking to that person consistently, that you're like, well, it's been 3 months, and then you don't want to be like, hey, what's going on with your subscription? That's a little awkward.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's important. That's why it's important to have those relationships and to be, and that's something I struggle with as well. I've just made a list today of some of the people that I haven't reached out to in a while, and I need to be making sure I'm doing that with my new people. I'm trying the 4-touch rule. Like, I'm writing them in my calendar to remind myself to check back up with them, because I just forget, y'all. I have, I'm not going to blame it on mommy brain, but I totally, we have so many things that we could be doing every day in our business. And, you get through 1 hour and you're like, okay, I did my IPA and I did, my training, and I did this and I did that. And then you move on with your day, and then it like wakes me up in the middle of the night. Oh my gosh, I forgot to reach back out to Sarah or Nancy or, whoever. And so I'm going to try writing it in my calendar of the people that I need to reach out to on a daily basis, that are current, so that I can continue to build relationships with them and not lose that, so that it doesn't go 6 months before we reach out to them. Because I'm so guilty of that. Or like Annalisa said, I have a girl that ordered BioCleanse that was really hesitant to do, to sign up. She was ordering like directly from me. And she was really hesitant to sign up, and I convinced her to sign up, and she just ordered BioCleanse. She needs the probiotic. She's like, I'm going to order that next month. Well, she didn't. And her BioCleanse shipped for a second month. And I know she's super inconsistent. So I'm over here going, okay, I need to reach out to her and let her know that she's had a second shipment of BioCleanse, but is she ready to order her probiotic, and maybe suggest swapping that, because I know she's not. I was hoping she was going to order BioCleanse and her probiotic together so that she was on a regular regimen, but now I know she's going to have a backup supply of BioCleanse, and so we need to do something. But knowing that when I reach out to her, she has the possibility of saying, oh, well, I'm just going to delete my order altogether, it's kind of intimidating. So, but in the interest of my client, that's the right thing to do, right? And so I am going to write her name down because I keep forgetting to do that. But she came to mind when we were talking about that. But I just know that I need to have that conversation with her, and life happens. We get it. So
the other day I was thinking about when I first started, how I was waking up at like 3 o'clock in the morning because I knew Ansley was getting on. I've lost that motivation because I knew I had a minute that I would be able to. I didn't want to miss anything you said, for one, but then I knew I would have a little window of being able to pick your brain for whatever question had came to me through the evening while you were sleeping. So that was I've lost that excitement, that drive, that motivation, I guess, because I was just thinking about that just the other day of how I used to wake up I could not sleep. I was flat excited. I couldn't sleep, and I knew about 3 o'clock in the morning here, Ansley was getting online. So, and that was something that I focused on. So that's another thing that's, and I've been trying to figure out how to get that back, and I haven't got to that point yet.
I think that is really natural. I have that as well. I think part of that is, as your life becomes normal, your new normal, I guess I would say, as your life becomes your new normal with our Plexus products, I think that sometimes we forget what our life used to be like. There has been, I have been off of BioCleanse for 3 days for purpose of something else. And I cannot tell you how miserable I am. Like, I'm like bloated, and my stomach hurts, and I've been kind of nauseous, and I'm like, oh man, I can't wait to get back on BioCleanse. But we forget that we go through those things because it's our new normal, right? When you're taking your products on a regular basis and you're feeling good, then after a while, it's not as exciting. When I was first starting Plexus, I was posting every day about, like, I passed up on the donuts. I didn't eat the Halloween candy. I didn't do this. I slept through the night. I didn't have restless legs. I, had a normal cycle. My cycles are, I didn't have pain, with my cycles, whatever that was. I was so excited all the time because those were new things. And so I think it might be a good thing for you, Val, and probably all of us to just sit down and write down, I've seen pictures of these, like things that people wanted, what were their goals and what they've achieved with Plexus, but write down the things that Plexus has helped you with. Really rack your brain and think about it. And then try to make posts over the next 30 days that correlate with those things and see if you get a better response. Because I know when I was excited and I was posting about the things that were changing in my life on a regular basis, people wanted to know what it was. I don't post about those things anymore nearly as often because it's my new normal. It's something that people have seen in me for a long time, but most people don't realize how much, I have new people on my Facebook every day. They don't know that I struggle with binge eating. They don't know that I was on anxiety medication or that I, have PCOS and didn't have a regular period or, whatever that is. And so we need to remind people, we need to remind them and ourselves why we're on this journey and why we believe that other people should be on this journey with us. And I think that will help with excitement because, and if it's not yourself, go to the Plexus Ambassador Testimonies page. Every day, go read a testimony because I can't tell you, how much excitement that brings to me when I see other people's lives being changed. If you guys didn't read if you read my Facebook post or didn't read my Facebook post, I just went to the Dominican with my husband, and it's an all you can eat, all you can drink, all inclusive type location. Okay. So, luckily I didn't see a lot of drunk people hanging around, but I knew that was a possibility. Right. But it was a little bit more upscale. So I think people, had a tolerance. We had one person that I saw get kicked out of the hotel because they were belligerent. But other than that, you really didn't realize that it was just pouring out like water. However, one night, we went up to one of the bars. I was sitting up there with Rob, and this woman kind of came up to the counter and she said, I just need some moral support. And I was like, okay, we're complete strangers, right? And I look over and her husband looks like he's about to pass out on the couch. He's sitting kind of in these chairs and he is kind of swaying, and doing these things, and he has his eyes closed. And I knew that he had some, obviously some to drink, but it looked like he was way intoxicated. And so I asked her, I said, oh, has your husband had a little too much or something like that? And she said, no, he's actually diabetic and he has not had his pump on all day. And why that happened, I don't really know. I guess just feeling like, he doesn't have a waterproof pump. So I learned this a couple days later, he doesn't have a waterproof pump. So he was out in the pool, camping in the pool, and have his pump on. So anyway, so she said he has it on now, but it takes, 24 to 48 hours for things to regulate. And she said, I'm just so frustrated. She was with 5 other couples and she was just pretty much in tears, just really frustrated. And she said, I just don't know what to do. I don't have my cell phone's not working. I can't get a hold of anybody. And I used to hesitate with our products. And I was trying to explain this a little bit, but I used to hesitate to give somebody our products because although I've seen them work, I always wondered if they were really going to work for this person. Do you guys ever have that? You ever feel like when somebody says, hey, I have this struggle, and you're like, well, here's what I suggest. I've seen it work for other people, but then you're on pins and needles the whole time. You're checking in with them like every 2 days, like, how are you feeling? How's it going? Because you're worried of whether it's going to work for them or not. After 3 years in this company, I don't have that fear anymore. I mean, there's certain things that aren't like guarantees that I know, are kind of different, but certain things I just know that they're going to work. And I didn't think for a second that giving them a pink drink was going to cure anything, obviously. But I just knew that whatever he was going through at that moment, that this would give him an extra boost, that it would help stabilize his blood sugar. And so I just asked her if she would hang tight. Rob was chatting with her, and I ran back to my hotel room and grabbed my samples. And I will tell you, guys, if you don't have your samples and your business cards on you at all times, you're making such a mistake. I can't tell you how many times I was without a sample or a business card, then I needed it. And I thought for sure on this trip I would be too busy to focus on that. And so I left them in the hotel room. And I can't tell you how many times I wish I had them on my body. So please don't go anywhere without them. But anyway, so I ran back and I brought her 2 sticks of Slim, and I also brought her water bottles, and I opened it in front of her, put it in, and shook it up so that she had to give it to him right then and there. And so I showed it to her and said, have him drink this. And I talked to her about, what it does. And she said, are you a nurse? And I said, no, I'm not a nurse. I said, but, I've been with this company for 3 years. We focus on gut health and blood sugar. And she said, is it like it works? I said, no. And so I kind of gave her a little bit more background. I said, we are a network marketing company. And at that point I could see the eyes roll. Right. And I thought, oh man. But she sat down with him and gave it to him, and we waited about 10 minutes, and then we waved, and I told her, if this doesn't work, then I'll help get you in contact with the on-call doctor here, because I knew that they had one, but it's crazy expensive. Y'all know. Anyways, the next day I was sitting at the pool, and she came up to me and she just said, I just want to thank you. She said, I know God sent you to me, and I want your information, because as soon as we get home, I'm going to order Plexus. And so her husband came up later, and she said, this is your guardian angel. This is the girl that gave you that pink stuff that you've been drinking. And so he thanked me, and it was just a really cool story. Well, 24 hours later, we've gone home and whatever, and she's ordered Plexus, not only for herself, she just ordered for herself, but she's going to order for her husband and for her daughter. Her daughter is Down syndrome, and she struggles with, I don't know exactly what she has, but she has to have bone marrow, and there's some different things that are going on in her health right now. And they've instructed her to be on Miralax and a laxative on a daily basis for the rest of her life. And we all know that is so bad for you. I talked to my little sister who's a nurse, and she said, Anthony, Miralax is propylene glycol. She said that literally means plastic pellets. And she said that is not something you want to be giving your child, let alone, anybody for the rest of their life. And so I looked it up a little bit, and there's so many studies that are linking Miralax to anxiety and mood disorders, and just so many gut issues and things that are going on. So anyways, that set a fire under me to help somebody. And I didn't know if they were ever going to order for me or place an order or whatever, but I knew that our products were going to help them that day. And so if you don't have that confidence, go read those testimonies, because it's stories like that are life-changing. And even if she doesn't use it for her husband for diabetes, she's going to use it for herself, or she's going to use it for her daughter, and somebody in her family is going to have huge life change. And I can't wait to see what that looks like. And I won't be surprised if she doesn't join us on one of these meetings over the next year, because she is in network marketing. She does travel. She's a travel agent in a network marketing kind of capacity. And so I could totally see her. She already has the understanding of what network marketing is, and she's on board with that. And she does live videos on her Facebook page every day. And so I can totally see her joining us at some point when this completely changes her life. And she's an EMT, so at least she has a little bit of medical background, which is nice. So anyways, that was just for you, Val, just saying, for excitement, those are the things that keep me going on a regular basis. But you have to be actively recruiting to see that, and I think that when we go through a dry season, it makes it harder to talk about what we do, because you forget what those moments are like when somebody calls you and says, thank you, Val. Thank you for changing my life. Or thank you. I got, I'll never forget Jess Scruggs, and she called me and said, I got $20 in my bank account. I don't know where it came from. I didn't do anything. And I said, well, that's just your residual income from your Plexus products. And she was like, well, tell me how to make more. And, those moments when things click for people, that is what keeps me going and keeps me excited. And when I'm in a dry season, because they happen, I've gone several months without signing people up, and it's hard. It's hard to have that momentum for yourself when you're not seeing that on a regular basis. So if you're struggling signing people up and you need some excitement, go look at testimonies. I think those are important. Sorry, I'm sniffling and I don't have any tissues in here, y'all. Okay, so what else? Anything else holding you back from ranking up? I don't think I'm talking to enough people. How about you? Are you talking to, that was one of the things that I realized on our trip. I have 4 new families on my Facebook, and I have a 100% feeling that those 4 families will buy Plexus, because I was talking to people. I don't get out here in my little bubble at England, and it's difficult because we don't sell to England. So I got to actually go to the base and do something with military people in order to talk to people. But when I'm out in the real world and I'm, interacting with people, it comes up naturally to me because I love what I do, and what I do, or what we do, changes lives. And it's so much a part of my life. So, are you talking to enough people? Because I'm not, and I think that holds me back. Anybody else?
I assume people are like me. And so like I was more like self-learning, self-motivated, asked a bunch of questions, and not everyone is that way. And some people do need like more. They just need a different approach. And I just assume like, hey, if you need help, you'll let me know, because that's what I did. Or if you have a question, you'll ask, because that's what I did. And I just, I think people are similar to me, and they're not. Some people are really like, I don't want to bug you, and I didn't want to ask you a bunch of questions. And so if I'm thinking they're like me and they'll come if they have a question, otherwise they're doing good, that's not going to work very well. So I need to realize there's different personalities and different needs. And that even though I was that way, like initially, there's been times throughout this process where I haven't done that and people have reached out to me. And it hasn't just been one person. It's like the team have said, hey, how you doing? Or what's going on? Or, and touching base with me. And not just like with Plexus, but just like, haven't seen you in a minute. You doing all right? Like on a personal level. So I have to remember that not everyone is going to respond the way that I do, or that even though I think I'm like super self-motivated all the time, or self-starter, which I am, and I do pick things up on my own, that doesn't necessarily mean that everyone else is going to be the same way. And then also like continuing to train, because if you do kind of like, being pregnant has totally like my brain, and I'm like, I literally feel like I don't know anything that's going on sometimes. So like, that's great. You did really good in the first year or two, or you were on a good roll, but things change and you have to continually improve and learn those things.
And again, I'm going to say management mode. That holds me back. I love, my passion is in the business is this. I love doing training calls. I love talking to you guys. I love seeing you guys reach your goals and your dreams. Those things are amazing to me, and they're so much fun. But the not so fun part is the part that's the most important, right? It's the part of growing my own team. And so I, again, need to take time to make sure I get that done first, instead of checking my messages and, doing that stuff.
That's a little easier. You're going to get a more positive feedback usually.
No, but truly, and I tell people this all the time, truly, my IPA can take me 15 minutes. Truly. If I send out 5 voice messages, it can take me 15 minutes. If I already have those people written down, it can take less than that. I know that. And so it is just one of those mindset things of getting over yourself and just doing it, because Rhonda posted something about the 10-day Joyome thing, and I'm so excited about that. And I know people that I know would do the 10-day Joyome challenge. But I just got distracted today. I sat down and I started doing all these other things, and getting this meeting together and getting different things. And then I realized, like, it's 5:00 here. My husband's coming in the door. My kids haven't been fed, and I'm not going to get that done today that I wanted to get done. So again, I have to get out of that mode. It is, it's not hard. It's not hard if I do it first. It's just that it's easy for me to put that on the back burner because that's not visible. If I stop posting on our team page, stop making it to training calls, don't show up to a book study, those kind of things, those are visible things. Nobody knows what I'm doing behind my computer. Nobody knows. And that's the vulnerable piece for me. Like, posting on Facebook every day and things like that. I'm pretty good about those things because I know they are visible. And that's not because I need people to know that, but it's just, for some reason, it's just easier because I'm a rule follower and I like to get things done. And I'm like Annalisa, I'm a little bit of a self go-getter in most areas. But this far into my journey, 3 years into my journey, the reaching out is a little bit more difficult because I'm going back to the same people, or I'm working on trying find new people, and that takes a little bit longer. But I just need to put it first. And I will tell you though, if you're not posting on Facebook every single day, that is the number one mistake you can be making. About Plexus. About Plexus. Because, I just had somebody reach out to me who I have not talked to since 2005, since I graduated high school, y'all. And she just reached out to me and said, I'm the heaviest I've ever been, and I want to lose weight. What can I do? We weren't even friends in high school. We were acquaintances. And so I added her on Facebook years ago, and so she obviously is watching my posts. So please, please, please make sure that that's something you're doing. And as a leader, I can promise you, if your team doesn't see you doing it, they are not going to do it. And that is the biggest way for them to see that you are still actively building your business, is that you are visible to them, and they can see, like, oh, well, she did that today, I better do that. And if they think you're successful, and they're going to look at you and go, okay, well, what is she doing? Well, she's not posting on Facebook, so I must not have to do that. That's not true. We need to do that. So, okay, I have 2 more questions. What do you feel like, this is a tough one. I promise you this doesn't leave the room, and I'm not going to report to you. It doesn't have to be about your sponsor in general. I just want you to just uplines in general, because we have multiple of them. I don't just use Rhonda, but not just for you, but for people that are joining. But what do you feel your upline in general could do to better support your business? If you have anything, like something that you need, maybe you are getting, or you're not getting, but somebody else may benefit from. I'll start if it's uncomfortable. I could use better accountability. I get, I think because I was successful quickly, sometimes it's just assumed that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm not always doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I could use better accountability, and I like public shout outs. That's important to me. When I'm doing something good, or I'm adding people, even though I'm senior Ruby, I still want to be recognized. Anybody else got some?
I think for me, because when I joined, it wasn't like a process that was like, okay, now you do this, now you do this, now you do this. But I still, years into it, don't have a good idea or system for myself what to do to help people. Like I still sometimes totally calling myself out. I'm like, what should I tell them to do? How should I tell them to start the products? How should I tell them to do their post? Or I'm afraid to ask them to do their post. And so for me, that's been a huge struggle. Every time I sign someone up, I get a little panic, like, I don't know what to do now. So that's something for me that, and I did do the Lexi app for a while, and I liked it and I didn't, just because it's somewhat not necessarily how people normally start. They're pretty fast to get people started. And when I did that, some people had some adverse effects, the side effects. And so then it was like, oh no, another bump in the road. And so, or if you're not checking that app consistently, you don't know that you just messaged that person. They're like, hey, to answer your question. It's like, what? What are you talking about? Well, if you didn't know, you sent them a message asking how it was going, or, you know, what their thoughts were about this or that. It's, you know, so that for me is a big one, just having a, like, this is what you do, this is what you do. Kind of, I know things vary and that people are different, but having that sort of framework.
A better duplication process. Sorry.
For sure.
Rhonda, what do you feel like your upline could do to better support you in your business?
Good question. Sometimes in the position I'm in, sometimes I feel all alone. I do have a coaching call starting, it was supposed to be this morning, and for some reason there were some mixed signals. So we're working on that. But sometimes I feel that just because I sort of know what I'm doing, or I know what I'm doing, I still feel sometimes that I need that support and encouragement and wisdom from them. Now, I go clear up to Roz sometimes. So just remember, guys, if that person, your sponsor, whoever, each one of us has different qualities, different strengths. So you're going to implement or have each one of them help you, because if I don't have it, then go to somebody else, or because that is absolutely important to know that.
Yep. I think it's important to ask, guys. Your upline doesn't know what you need unless you tell them. I know when last year, Rhonda? I think I was just really struggling with leadership, and I was like, look, like, I know you're busy, but I need a coaching call and I need leadership help, because I don't know what I'm doing. I have this giant team and I don't know what to do with them. And so we did, for a good 6 to 8 months, we did a training call every week, and we did a book study together. And it really set me off on the right foot to be able to do that with my team and duplicate that with you guys. And I needed a place where I felt like I could vent up, you know, hey, I'm struggling with this. I don't know how to motivate this person, or I don't know, you know, how to do that. And I couldn't do that on a group chat, but we didn't, you know, Rhonda's team doesn't have a group or a team call. So I didn't feel like I had anywhere to learn from. I felt like kind of like the buck stops here, and I needed more. I needed to, you know, just because I've reached a certain rank doesn't mean I'm done learning or I know everything. And And yes, I could go out and get that information. You know, we can't blame our uplines for anything. We have, if I need leadership training, I have plenty of places I can find that. I just happened to ask her and she was willing. But had she not been willing to do that, you know, there's, you know, just like Rhonda's doing now with Bob Heilig, there's so many people that are versed in training us in anything that we need. And you can find that. But I love community. One of the things that I love so much about this business is our team calls and is our community that we have together. And so because we didn't have that anymore, I was like, I need something to, you know, to help me get from here to there. And so that was really helpful. But had I not told her that, she wouldn't have known that. She wouldn't have known that I needed, you know, that I was struggling with that. So your upline, it doesn't have to be your sponsor. Let me just say that again. Just like Rhonda said, she has all sorts of people. We have all sorts of people above us that you can use and utilize. And sometimes your sponsor's not active and they're never going to give you what you need. Okay, so move on. Go to the next person. Tell your upline, hey, look, you don't have to say anything ugly about your sponsor. Just say, I'm just not getting what I need. And this is where I'm struggling and this is what I need, because if you're 2 or 3 levels below me, I don't always know that you're struggling or that you need more help or you want to do something more, or, you know, you need, you know, whatever it is that you need. So unless you tell those people, they're not going to know that you're struggling in something. So be honest with your sponsor and your upline.
Yeah, and for instance, Andrea Mitchell, she's our diamond upline. She is really, really good with spreadsheets. Anything that is business oriented, oh my gosh, she is amazing. I go to her. Rachel Neagle and Becky Page, not as much. Becky Page is more of a personal level. Rachel Neagle is really versed in the products. Mm-hmm. So I go to her. So you see the different dynamics there and the different people that I go to. So each and every one of us brings something different to the table. And please reach out to us and let us know how we can help. And if we can't help, we will find somebody to help you.
Yeah. Anything else? What else? We have recognition, accountability, better duplication, coaching calls. Anything else that uplines in general, your uplines could help you do better to help better support you? Debbie, do you have one? Your uplines are perfect, all of them. You have and I'm not calling them out, but you have everything you need. You're getting everything that you feel like you need to grow a diamond business.
Well, no, that's why I'm over here meeting. I mean, just being honest about it. No, I had written down be available. That's one thing. And in all honesty, my sponsor is my ex-sister-in-law, and she was my ex-sister-in-law when I signed under her, but it's always been kind of a weird relationship. Anyway, but she is in good, like going up, you know, further into my upline doesn't really work because she's in good all the way up to best. And so, you know, anything, if I were to go and say something, I feel anyway, up my line, I don't know that it wouldn't get back.
Well, don't be negative. Just say, hey, you know, this is something that I've, you know, kind of been struggling with. I've already chatted with my sponsor about it, but I could really use some help, and I know you're really good at it, you know, or do you have anything, you know, maybe it's training. Do you have any training coming up in the next, you know, 6 months that you're doing on this topic? Because you know, this is an area that I could use help with. Mm-hmm. But also, I think we have to get to a place where we're okay with telling our sponsors that we're not getting everything we need from that area. It may it may hurt a little bit in the beginning, but I can tell you, I have a lot of people that bypass me and go straight to Rhonda. Because our personalities, I won't say a lot. I have some that go bypass me and go straight to Rhonda because our personalities don't match. And they feel like they are going to get a softer response from her, and they probably do, because that's just the way our personalities are. And so when they want more coddling and less, let's do this, they go to Rhonda, right? But Rhonda is so the other piece of that is, don't think that it's not going to get back to her, because it's going to. It's Rhonda's job to help those people, but then to kind of report back to me and say, hey, just want you to know this is going on, and and I'm handling it,
Mm-hmm.
And so we do talk, but I promise you, if your sponsor is a good leader, they will be happy about that. Number one, it's one less person on their plate. Okay, I have a lot of people that need to be trained and worked with, and it's one less person that I don't have to work with on a daily basis, that I'm not getting anywhere with. Number one. Number two, that person is getting their needs met to grow their business. If they're not going to get it from me, it's only sabotaging myself by saying, I want to be the only person that trains this person. If they get a better response from Rhonda and that helps them grow a business, it's benefiting me. So there shouldn't be any weirdness with sponsors, because it should only be benefiting them. Does that make sense? And I think culture in teams,
My sister-in-law, she does provide a lot. She's always got training going on. She is a good leader, but she is the kind, I guess, that is, I'm your leader, I'm your trainer, I want you under me, because we were in a training session for something and I made the comment of, I'm in this book study. Who are you taking a book study with?
I'm actually really surprised to hear that, because your sponsor came to me and asked if she could bring more people into our book study before the book study ever.
My sponsor did?
Yeah.
Becky?
No. Why did I think you had a different sponsor? Goodness.
But anyway, but like I said, she is a great leader.
Oh yeah, I call her Rebecca, but
No,
Todd? No.
No, she's not mine.
Oh.
She's a sweetheart. I like her to pieces.
I'm totally wrong. I stalked Facebook.
My thing when I put, be available, over the last few years, I'll say, hey, do you have time to chant for 2 minutes? And no, I don't. I'm doing that. I mean, it's a constant, there's not time. So I guess that's my thing, is just, making sure, even if personalities clash, that needs are still being met.
Yeah.
I guess.
Go ahead, Annalisa.
I was just going to say, I've had some challenges in a similar way. And what I had to realize is that I'm running my business, and these are people that I work with, not for. They're not my employer. They don't dictate how I have to do things. They don't dictate how I run my business. And I can look at my uplines, and they all have good attributes. Like, some are more caring, and they care more about like the person and how is that helping them in their health. And then other people are very business driven. And so in that way, they have something to offer. But if I want to go and have a boss, then I will go and get a job. And then I will have less say of who I can go to and where I can get that information. And I wouldn't necessarily go above them. But even in an employment situation, if you're not getting what you want from your direct supervisor, you would eventually go to the next person and say, I need more in this way. Is that popular? Not necessarily. But the point of this is to have the freedom to run my business the way that I feel, with integrity, or with what I'm comfortable doing. So it defeats the purpose to say, you want this independence, you want this financial freedom, you want the freedom to do your business the way you would like to run the business, that you feel good about yourself and how you operate. And then say, but you have to do it my way. No, because you're actually not my boss. I don't actually work for you. And realize that to some degree, that person, whether you personally get along with them, had something to offer, and gave you some, whether it was a lesson what not to do or a lesson what to do, there's something that they do have to offer. But for me, I had to really realize they're not in charge of my business. They're not in charge of me, and that I have to feel good about, lay my head on the pillow at night and feel good about what I'm doing, and that I'm actually helping the people who I sign up. So that's my little add-on.
And having that conversation might grow your sponsor as a leader. I think we have to get to a place where we recognize that those are important things. If you're in a book study and you're getting, good information and you're learning, they should be grateful for that, right? Or whatever it is that you do. But I also remember what it felt like to be in the beginning stages of my business and feel like, if I'm not training them, who are they getting training from? And I don't want them to leave. You know what I mean? And the wonderful thing about a business is that you can't train sponsors. So that's a great thing. So there's security in that. But, but just having some give and take. Hey, if I'm leading my business in a way that you don't feel like is, with Plexus integrity, then, please say something to me. But, as long as I'm growing and learning, I need you to respect that, that I may not get everything from you. I love what you bring to the table, and maybe tell them what they bring to the table. You bring this and this and this to my business, and I really need that and love that. But I like learning different perspectives and getting training from other, outlooks and things like that. Okay. Anything else for what you could better support from sponsors? I'll tell you what I do get from my sponsors, just so you can kind of know where my upline. Hey, Mel, we're still on. We're almost done though. I get training calls when they've experienced a training call that they really love. They send them to me. I love that because I don't always have the time to go and look for them. If it sparks something for them, then obviously it probably will resonate with me in some way. And so I like getting those. And so maybe if you're not getting training calls and you'd like that, maybe that would be something to suggest. I get private recognition on a regular basis. They support me and love on me on a regular basis. I get sneak peeks at things that make my day, when they get that special Jewel stuff, because I'm sitting right there. She, calls me a leader on her team, and because of that, sometimes gives me some sneak peeks of things that happen before they go live. And that just means that she trusts me, and that makes, me feel really good, and that she believes in me. And I know that because she tells me that on a regular basis. What else? I happen to have not just my upline, but my sponsor, Rhonda and I have a friendship. And so we were friends well before Plexus. And so I know that not only can I go to her about business, but when I'm struggling in regular real life stuff, we can talk about it. And that means the world to me. And she prays for me, and she tells me that when she does, if something's come to her head or her mind about me, she reaches out and says, hey, just wanted you to know I was praying about you, or I have something major that comes up in my life. She reaches out to me and says, hey, I just want you to know you're covered in prayer today. When, maybe it was months ago that I told her about it, she obviously wrote it down and made it a priority to make sure I knew about it. And that is important to me. She supports my team. I love that my sponsor is not afraid to chat with my teammates, that when I go on vacation or something, she's there to cover. And that if I'm away, this isn't just my sponsor, but everybody on our team, when we're away from our phones, if somebody asks a question, she's not afraid to jump in and answer that. And that's a rapport that Rhonda and I have built together. In the beginning, it was, she asked me a lot of times if it's okay if she does this, is it okay if I do that? And I make sure that she knows that I want her to be a huge part of our team, that I want, that I that she doesn't have to ask me, right? I tell you that often. You don't have to ask me, just do it. Getting on calls like this with us, she doesn't have to do this. And, but she, just doing that because she knows she's supporting me, but that she might learn something too, and knowing that she can learn from her downline means the world to me. So, so those are some things that I get from my sponsor. I probably should have started with that, so then I could ask you, what do you need? But after saying all that, is there anything in that list that you feel like, hey, maybe I don't get on a regular basis that I would like to see more? Mel, you just jumped on. We asked, what do you feel your sponsor or your upline in general, not just your sponsor, could do to better support you in your business?
Yeah. Probably call me out more. I liked it the other day when you said, hey, Mel, Sue doesn't have a convenience order on. I'm the one who did the order, so I have no idea how that happened, but that's huge, right? So, or you used to have to, you don't need to mind my business, but I do enjoy it when you will tell me, hey, there's 3 people that are just at the cusp of 100 PV. So then I can go in to report, because I used to live and breathe reports, and I've gotten away from that habit. And I think because it's just gotten, as your team grows, you've got more and more data, right? I know what I'm talking about. So anyway, so that's very, I like that, really honest, because I'm at the point in my business now where there isn't, I learned new stuff, but there isn't anything that I just know I need to work, and I know how to work, or I know how to not work, and I take responsibility for my production or my non-production. But at the same time, when you can catch little things like that are so simple for me to fix, or to call someone and say, hey, just wanted you to know, about this, that's gold mine for me.
You can tell we're cut from the same cloth, because I like those things too, but I will tell you 99.9% of my downline does not. So it's, again, if you haven't told your sponsor what you need, it's important, because on a regular basis, that would upset people. And so you have to know who you're working with, but you have to know that as a sponsor of a large team, it is so hard to know who to do what with without stepping on toes or feeling, Rhonda has somebody else on her team that absolutely wants to run her team by herself, doesn't want her in any training, helping her team, doing any of those things. And so that's why she was so nervous about asking me for things. And I'm the complete opposite when it comes to that. So as a sponsor, it's really hard to know what kind of personality you're dealing with and how much help they want. So make sure that that you're doing that. Maybe today when you get off this call, you could, maybe not today because I kept you longer, but a day, take, make a list of things that you would really love to see from your sponsor. And then just send them a message and say, hey, I was on a call the other day and they said, we should do this. Here's what I want to let you know that you're doing really, really awesome. And here's what I could use more of. Hopefully they take that as a positive, constructive criticism, and they don't take it personally. I wouldn't. I think I would be like, oh man, you don't think I give you this? But at the same time, it would give me something concrete to say, okay, Sally needs me to send them training videos on a regular basis. That's not something I do. If Sally needs that, I need to know that so that I can make that a priority in my business. So just a suggestion. Okay, before we jump off of here, what would you like to see happen in December? Anybody got anything major or not major that you would like to see in December?
I personally really liked it when we did it. I think we did a pretty good attempt of it last year to give back to, remember, the needy families. We kind of tried, that was, I think that was good. I think it's good, as a team.
Have something in the works for that.
And if we know that that's going to happen, then we might be able to say no to something that's happening at our church or something, because, you can't do it all. But if I don't have, it's like I might not do an angel tree or something like that if I know that our team's going to do that. And I think it's a great, I think it offsets that whole, any of those people that feel like, oh, you're just all about the business and you want this from me. Maybe that helps them to know, no, we give back too. We earn money. So we earn money from this business. We might as well give back a little,
Mm-hmm. Yes. There is a Joyum 10-day challenge going on in December 1st. We have, in November, we still have our Black Friday special and our Joyum special, so don't forget about that. Anything else? Rhonda, do you know of anything that's coming up in December?
I do not, but my coach just called and he has something big to tell me. So I have no idea what it is. I will share with you though, as soon as I hear.
Okay.
I think December.
I don't know about December yet.
I think December 14th is like the last to get into the 14-day challenge, right? I think
Yes.
that date kind of
Okay.
strikes me.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm starting mine on Monday, if anybody wants to join me. I was going to start on Saturday, but I've had some people that have been telling me they want to start, and so I'm pushing it back so they can get involved. But I'm going to start it on Monday after Thanksgiving, before Christmas. Yay!
And they can use the free shipping and the 10% off for that too. Just remember that.
Yes. All right, well, y'all think about that. If you have any suggestions of what you'd like to see, whether it is topics for our team call or our training call, the book for the next book study that will be coming out soon because we're almost done with our book, or just, more things. You want to see more coaching calls. You want to see, I would like to see more people interacting on our team page. Holler. That is something. I don't want to be the only one. I'm not the only one anymore. Thank you, everyone that does give time to that. But it makes my day when I am not the only one, because I love learning from you guys. And but I also like interaction. So when you see people making posts, try to comment on those. But you all have so many strengths. So love to see more of that. All right, well, if y'all see anything, shoot me a private message or message in the team thread, and I hope you enjoyed this call, and I'm excited to kick off December with you soon. Hope everybody has a really great Thanksgiving. Spend time with your babies and your hubbies and your families, and just get refreshed. All right, talk to y'all back soon.